Everyone, it's Marianne Maldonado, and welcome to our big Black Friday sale slash Doorbuster sale. So we've got a lot of things going on and a lot of things that I want to make sure that I point out for you. We've got some really cool things. So first and foremost, my favorite new item are the new banner foundation dies. Just check this out. Is that not cool? So if you get the heart, you get the heart that you can place on top. If you put the banner with the stitching detail on top, then you have a half circle, two half circles really, if you look at both of these, two half circle banners, and you can do the stitching on top, or you could do a small one, so then you'd have a border around them. It's really cool. All of them have stitching. All these little tiny pieces have stitching detail. Here is a die that will go right across the top of those to give you a nice clean look and make it look like maybe you have a twine or a ribbon or something like that. You could do that in any color that you would want, and it just adds a little bit more detail and a little bit more cleanliness to your banners. So let me see how, I don't even think I recall how many dies are in this set. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 19 dies come in this brand new foundation set. This is just how I store mine. It's a magnetic sheet. If I'm not bending it and it's flat, it works really well. And I put them in a little binder in a 3-hole punch. So I'm going to show you a card that we're going to make with this new foundation. I'm twisting my words, this new banner foundation set. So that's going to come up in just a few minutes. We do have these gorgeous new snowflakes. Just look at this blue one and how beautiful that. Where's the silver one? That's one of my favorite ones as well. Look at those. Aren't they beautiful? There's a pale purple and a pink and a cream and a white and a light blue and silver and dark blue. They're just absolutely beautiful. I have a card to share with you where I'm using those sunflowers, those snowflakes, and this is the card that I created. I did use the Endless Christmas Kit to get the frame that has the snowflakes built right into it, and look how beautiful that is. What I did was I did glue some down inside my shaker, and then I put a whole bunch on the outside of my shaker. So you've got snowflakes that will stay permanently in place on the inside, and then I just matched all of the toppings to the snowflakes that I used. And for a little extra detail, I did use some just clear crystals, and that gives a little bit of shine. I think those are diamonds. And then I just added some pearls in the same similar color pattern, just to add a little bit more detail. Isn't that beautiful? Or aren't those beautiful, the new snowflakes? So you definitely need to check those out. I absolutely love them. So that's one of our new sets. Now those snowflakes are only $3.95, and you get, I believe, 50 snowflakes, I think is what it says on the website. I am not 100% sure, but I believe they're also in the Doorbuster, category. Now, in our Doorbuster category, you can use your rewards. So you can shop until your heart's content in our Doorbuster category. You will find these beautiful new fabric buttons. Now, I will say these are a little chunky. If you can, let me just make sure I can see my video here. You can see that they're a bit chunky, but you know what? I don't care. I don't care about chunky. I will hand deliver this if I have to drive 100 miles. I love the dimension and detail that these big buttons offer for card making. I put them in the center of repetitive flowers from the flower foundation set. You could put them in the center of the flowers from the new flower kit that we have, the fancy flower kit. You can put them anywhere. Honestly, you could just use them as an embellishment instead of in the center of something. They're a really great item. And they are also in our Doorbuster deal. And I think, if I recall, they're $5.95. And let's see how many of those you get. oh gosh, probably good 12 maybe, without sitting there and counting for you. I do think you get about 12 maybe. I'm maybe off a little bit, but if you go in there, 16, you get 16. Well, good. I was off in the good direction. So those are gorgeous. We also have these we also have these hearts, which I think they look just like gumdrops. You know, those candy, they like literally look like gumdrops to me, but they're called, I think they're just called hearts. They're not candy hearts, I think, but don't they look edible? Yeah, don't leave these near your children. Anyway, these come in a set also, and I believe you get 18 of these in several different colors, and they're absolutely adorable. And I just used some of our epoxy dots to enhance the color of each of the candies. Isn't that cute? It's a standalone. All I used was foundation dyes and the gems, and they're just beautiful. Same with, well, this one I did use the flower foundation, and these are foundations as well. So these items are also in the Doorbuster category, where you can use your rewards. I repeat, you can use your rewards in the Doorbuster category. So you get the fabric flowers, the hearts, the snowflakes I just showed you. Here is a couple more cards that I created using the buttons and the candy hearts. Aren't they adorable? This right here might be a sneak peek of the banner foundations. I'm stumbling over my words again. Aren't these adorable? Just look at those buttons. I just can't. I need a new set. I actually use them all, or pretty close to all of them, in just 2 cards. But I also overdo it. I put way too much on a card. And then I also am almost out of these edible candy hearts. Or should I say non-edible if any children are watching. So those are some new items in the Doorbuster category. Another item in our Doorbuster category are these new pearl toppings. Now, I already took mine out of the bags and put them in my storage container, but you'll get 10 beautiful pearl toppings. I'm hoping that you can see this clearly. How gorgeous are those? I know that there's a little bit of a glare, but look at that silver. That's perfect, just in time for Christmas cards or winter cards, maybe the first of the new year. That would be gorgeous. And then you have 3 yellows. Well, not really yellow, but here's a cream, a light yellow, a darker yellow, a pink, a peach, and an orange, and a purple, and a reddish color. They're just beautiful. This is a huge savings. If you've been a customer of ours for a while, toppings are quite expensive. They have to, there's just so much work entailed. And you can get these in the Doorbuster deal category for only $9.95. It's a steal, honestly. And that can get you quite a few toppings for a really low price. So I highly recommend you check that one out. Again, Doorbuster category does allow you to use rewards. Don't forget. So I wanted to show you a few cards that I made with the banner foundation. And I know this is going to give a little glare with that metal, but I wanted to leave it here for you to see. Here's one of the cards that I made, and this is a standalone. I didn't use any of our shaker kits. I did use our foundation dyes, but I used only the star kit or star banner from the new banner foundation. I use this little baby star right here, and in one of our foundation dyes, I can't recall which one. Might be the holiday one. There's a couple of stars that have stitching around them, and I use those here. So if you just look real close at the detail, I am getting a shadow, sorry. The detail in those stars is just adorable, and I love to overclump, over bling, so I've just added a whole bunch of pearls that coordinate with the stars that I used. Isn't that beautiful? And you can use stars for almost anything, but how pretty is the banner in the background as a subtle decoration? I really love it. Probably my favorite card that I made with this new foundation set. Well, okay, one of my favorite cards. Here's another one. I used the Winter Wonderland kit. Oops. Where did I have this? we're going to have to think about where I might have had that. I think I had it right here, and I think it came off because I used some string. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's on the other card behind us. I must not have used good enough adhesive. Let's see what I used. Just tape runner. Maybe that didn't work quite well. So this one here uses the Winter Wonderland kit. It is now back in stock and really fun. It's got a couple of different snow globes that, different shaped snow globes, which are really fun to make. And I used this banner from the new Banner Foundations. There's just a bunch of little dots. They don't look quite like dots when you're looking at this, but these are the dots that, oops, will go over the top of it to make a little bit more detail. And this has stitching too. And look how small that is. And we got some stitching in there. So these two combined with the Winter Wonderland kit made this little banner that I put across my globe. Now, I did make a mistake. Do you ever make cards and wish you could go back and change things a little bit? Well, there's a tree. You see that tree under there? Maybe if I go this way. See that tree under there? You can't even see it because I filled my circle with way too much bling. But that's what I do. I love it. Look how pretty that is. Anyway, I just used some gems to accent some of the circles, and I cut a bunch of different colors that are already cut with this, and I put them on top like little balls of lights kind of on this card. You can use it in so many different ways, but I chose to use it as like a Christmas lights. This one here, I did use the sentiment stacker number 2 to have the sentiment down at the bottom. And with it being a sympathy or a really thinking of you type of a card, I kept it simple. Beautiful yet elegant and simple. I wanted the message to come across instead of having so much detail like I add to most of my cards. I did use the backdrop borders. Backdrop border here for very subtle detail. And I used the banner here and I layered it twice. So I took this banner. Why can't I get that? Now they won't come off the metal when I want them to. But I used this banner and I cut it twice, in gray and in white. And then I took this one. Remember I was saying that you could make it a little bit cleaner and more elegant, and just placed a gray one over the top. So the gray is my shadow underneath the white. And then I just cleaned it up a little bit with a gray string, if you will, over the top of that. Just added a few small flowers from our flower foundations, and those are shadowed also with some gray paper and some gems, and you have yourself a really beautiful, elegant, thinking of you, sympathy type of a card. Not a whole lot of detail, just to get your point across. And this is the one where I want you to have a magical Christmas. So let's add a little bit better adhesive on the top of that. Stick that right back down on the bottom. And I have another banner card that I made. This is using the Endless Christmas, which is back in stock. Oh, look at all that bling in there. It's so much fun. So I filled it. Oh, look, I used polka dot paper and a lot of polka dot bling, or the green is the polka dot anyway, but look how cute that looks in there. So I just put banners across the top and I layered them with a pattern paper, as you see here. And then I just added the sentiment from the Endless Christmas kit, a couple of epoxy lollies, a few other epoxies, a couple of stars, and I have a really pretty shaker card. Very festive. I really love the pink added in with the traditional colored papers for Christmas. I like aqua too. I like pink and aqua for Christmas, but I really like this Grinchy color green with the pink. So that's another card that I made with the banner. So now we have 4 cards, and I created another one too, and we're going to replicate this one today. A minute ago, I asked you if you ever make a card and you wish you did something different, but it's maybe a little bit too late. You're done. You've glued it. You've stuck it down. It's really not much that you can do, but I am going to change this one up a little bit, or you and I are going to change it up a little bit together in just a second. I'm going to recreate this so you can just see how easy it is. I did use paper in a sort of a rainbow pattern to create almost like a Christmas tree. Do you see the tree? I think I like it. I think it's adorable. And so I decided to go in color that coordinated with the paper in the background. So let's recreate this one for you. Here we are with the pink and the teal that I told you that I absolutely love together with the Grinchy green, but I also like the darker green. This is the Jolly Jingles paper. This is what I'm using for this card, and I believe I used for a couple of the other cards as well. So we'll just get started. I've got a card base right here that I've already scored and used a Teflon bone folder to just put that right over the edge so it folds really nice and neat. I'm going to add my patterned paper to the back, and I do want it where it's going to be color kind of coordinated as it goes down. And I want the silver to be the top so it can be my star and with a bunch of bling with me. So I'm going to set this aside. Now these two dies that I did use, this one right here comes from foundation number 3. And this really great big banner that really matches the banner foundation comes from 14, I believe. So if you wanted to have this type of a base, you would want 3 and 14. I cut a few of the pieces already, so we didn't have to do that together. I mean, you guys all, if you're a shaker maker, you get what it's like to cut through the machine, but I am going to show you something in a sec. Okay, so I just cut another piece of white paper in the shape of the big banner because I forgot to add detail to this. So the original card is just a lot of empty white space, so I didn't want to have any of that. So I'm going to run it through with one of our, I think it's 6 new backdrop dies. These are really, really awesome. Now, if I'm going to use a die cut to cut a shape, I want to cut the shape before I send it through for the detail. That's also included in when using embossing folders. You don't want to emboss after, you don't want to cut your shape after you've embossed. You'll lose all of your embossing because our die cutting machines squish everything. So you want to do this after you want to run it through after you have cut the shape that you want. So let's hope we can all plan ahead a little bit. Sometimes that's not good for me. Like this card, I obviously didn't plan ahead, or seeing it afterwards, I do want to add some detail. So I'm just running it through my little, it's not little, I guess, my electric Sizzix machine that I have here. And now look at the detail. Look at all that stitching. Pretty fabulous, right? It adds so much more detail than just a basic white paper. So let's add this right directly to the top with just a tape runner, nothing fancy. I am going to stick my star down up at the top like before, pretty close to the center if I can. There we go. So I definitely want to start from the top. Before, I think I started from the bottom and worked my way up. And we're going to minimize as we go because I didn't like it. So I think I'm going to do, on this one it has 5 pink. I think it was a little too much. So I'm going to trim this down. I'm only going to use, which section do I want? I can use any section I want. I think I'm going to go right here in the middle, and I'm going to go with 4 this time. I think 5 was too much, and 4 might be just right. What do you think of that? I think that'll work for us. And so then I'm going to just add some adhesive with my reverse tweezers. That's helpful for me. I have arthritis in my hands, and obviously I'm missing a hand, so these reverse tweezers are like magic. So again, I want to use the grid on my mat here and try to come up with what I think is the center of the paper. And if I don't want my thing to keep moving, I can just slice off a little piece of the backing, and I can stick that right down. That would be helpful. So it stays right where I want on my grid, especially if I'm trying to line things up perfectly or next to perfect. So I think I do want to stick with 3. I do think the pink was too big, but I think 3 would be good. Let's try 3. Let's go from there. Now this center, the little nook or the little piece that hangs out over the edge, because it's so close to the circle, it's shorter than this one. So I want to trim this one to come back and be short like the other side. There we go. Now let's see. I know these two are what I want. So let's see if I'm going to do the rest of this the same way, or how am I going to do it? And again, there's not much space in between these 2 items, so I've got to come back over and trim this one down shorter as well. So there we go. Okay, well, I might not. Maybe it was the red or the pink that was just throwing me off. I think I'll like this. I did like this dark green. These are a little bit more spacious. So if I clip like this, it just looks a little bit longer. And there's the dark green. And then I did use the entire blue. If you want to get crazy, and I do mean crazy, you could put foam tape behind all of these little tiny banner pieces and get yourself some dimension that way. But I'm not going to do that. Not today. And I am a huge, huge fan of foam tape, but I just don't know if I want to cut all those itty bitty tiny pieces. So I am going to add some nice adhesive to the dark blue at the bottom. I'm going to try to line this up as best I can to the lower part of this big banner piece. I want it to be equal everywhere, if I can. There, is that in the center? I think it is. I think it's pretty close. It's not bad. It's not perfect. It's not bad. So have you guys started your Christmas cards yet? I mean, this banner foundation isn't really a Christmas set, but boy, these banners really, really can take any Christmas card to the next level. I like it because you can use it standalone. I mean, I'm making a Christmas tree out of these banners. You can make anything. Using the right papers and the right color combination, it looks as though you've kind of made like a little baby Christmas tree. I have not started my Christmas cards yet. We are going to South Carolina next week for Thanksgiving, and we are seeing our son, and a friend of ours, I'm hoping, is going to take a picture, a decent picture of my family so that we can have a nice little Christmas card, because my son hasn't been home since he left for college, and we want to make sure while we're together I get a picture so that I can have a card. Okay, now carefully try to lift this back up without bending my paper, and I have a little bit better of a Christmas tree, I think. I think it's adorable. So I'm going to remove all the foam tape off the back of the card, or the front of this card, or off the piece that's going on the front of this card. Again, I'm going to use my grid mat as best I can to keep this straight and put it on my striped paper. So I've got pattern upon pattern and stripes. So I want everything to be as best as I can get it for straightness. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so now what we'll do is our sentiment. Now, I know you guys maybe just watched Ginger do a sentiment with her little stamping contraption that she has. I think it's from We Are Memory Keepers. I like this mini sweet petunia. Look, all that adhesive. It's pretty dirty. It's well loved, well used. So I'm just going to take a scrap piece of paper, and I like a little adhesive on the back, and that's where all that sticky stuff right there comes from. I want to try to keep it straight because I want my stamp set or my stamp to be straight, and I'm just choosing a stamp from the Winter Wonderland, from the Winter Wonderland kit. So I'm just going to dig out my stamp, and on the bottom of this, I'm going to use Wishing You the Happiest of Holidays. And then I'm going to place this right down on here, best as I can. straight as I can. I think that looks pretty good. Close it up. I don't want to press too hard. Whoops, I didn't. If I'd have moved that, it would have lifted up my paper. There we go. All right, I'm going to just use this too so my paper doesn't come up. Now I'm going to ink my stamp. I'm hoping I'm close enough or on the camera screen here. I'm going to use my hand to push it down. It's a little weak in the center, so I'll stamp again and push again. A stamping tool like this, there's so many out there, but they work really well for stamping because you can double stamp and triple stamp or whatever you may want to do. If you don't get the stamping done properly the first time, you can go back and stamp it again and it stamps right down in the exact same place. So I do recommend it. I need to put my stamp back. If not, I won't be able to find it the next time I'm looking for it. It's always something you should take a minute to do because how many stamps have we lost, to be honest? So many. So many. All right, so I'm going to peel that up and put my thing away. I wanted to show you another little tip or trick, and I have misplaced the die that I was going to use. Hold on a second. Okay, so now there's so many ways that you can go and cut out this sentiment. I just used a paper trimmer and cut it out. It's pretty, but I wanted to add a little bit more detail. So I'm going to use this die. It's got some stitching, and it comes from, I think, either 16, 17, or 18. Comes from one of those. So I want to have the stitching border, but this is way too long for my sentiment. So I'm going to line up my sentiment inside of the die and place down some low tack tape just to keep it in place. And I reuse this tape for like 1,000 times until all the tack is gone. But I'm going to run that through my machine. And let me show you real quick. I'm going to bring it a little closer, hoping that you can see this. Here is the end of my paper. I don't want to go all the way to the end of my paper. So I'm going to dig it back out, reverse it and dig it back out. And then I want to I like to turn my platform around. And then I want to work it out where I can feel where it falls into place, putting it on backwards. Does that make sense? So I can feel that it is locked into place there. And then I'll put my tape back down. It's locking into the die cut itself and the stitching. So it will now come out and it'll be a smaller. I've got detail on all sides and it's just a smaller sentiment. This time I'm not going to run it all the way through either because I don't want to just mess up the end just in case I have it off a little bit. So let's see what this looks like. There you go. Look at that. So my complete sentiment, it has stitching all around it, but I used a die cut that was, or a die, metal die that was way too big. Isn't that neat? Anyway, super fun thing to do. Let me move this out of the way. I do want to add some adhesive to this. So on my desk, my poor desk, I stick all sorts of leftover remnants of foam tape and I just trim it to be thin. I want a piece over here. And now I know I don't need as long of a piece. I will trim another little piece and place it down on top of the other side. So now I have a complete sentiment that I can add to my homemade Christmas tree. I'm going to add this to the bottom. Hopefully get it straight and in position. There we go. How's that look? Does that straight? No, I don't think that. I think it's a little floppy. There we go. Okay, so now we have our sentiment. I just cut a few pieces of white paper from the, it'll be like the ribbon or the string that would hold your banner up. So I cut several of them here, as you can see, and I am going to add them across, I'm going to add them across the top of the banners that are hanging to make our Christmas tree. So you can see that some of the balls are above and below this banner. That is okay with me because I am going to just lay them down anyway. It won't matter. So I'm going to cut that off where I think it's perfect to put on the pink banner. Again, use a slight touch of a wet adhesive. Sheer glue works really great, but don't put too much. You don't want to have an overflow of ink, or pardon me, glue that you have to clean up. And I saw the other day that Ginger just uses a pin. Oh my goodness. That is so much easier than anything I've done. Oh, I highly recommend it, ladies. Grab yourself a little pin, a safety pin or a quilting pin or anything like that, and it just picks right up, picks those pieces right up. So, or the extra glue that you might have on there. So I just want to be cautious with how much glue I'm using. I'm going to put this right down over the red banner. Oh, and that was perfect size. Luckily, perfect size. I used the part of it for the pink and the other part for the red. I thought it was actually going to be too long, but it worked out perfectly. So there I have it again. I'm going to just take a little bit of that glue away. I'll take another one and I will put it on the green one, and so on and so forth. So again, I just want you to be aware of the sales that are happening right now. We have two different sales. We have a Doorbuster sale where you can use your rewards, and we also have a Black Friday sale where you cannot use your rewards. So you want to place two different orders, or if you want to shop twice or not bother with using rewards and just pay for it outright, just have one order for shipping, that is completely up to you. So what happens is when we use our Black Friday BOGO sale, buy one, get one free, that requires a code to be entered in for you to get those savings. And when we add that code, that we cannot, unfortunately, the system just doesn't allow us to add two codes to our computer system. So you have to only use one. You can only use one. So in order for us to give you the BOGO sale, that is a code that is entered in automatically by us. And you cannot use a second code, again, which would be a coupon code. So it's either one or the other. Unfortunately, there's no other way to get around that. We've tried, we've looked, that is just what it is. So remember that the Doorbuster can use rewards, but the BOGO Black Friday sale cannot use rewards that you've earned from shopping. Now, we do our best in our warehouse. We're a small team. We do what we can to work as hard as we can to get these orders out. So that does not allow us to combine orders. So if you're hoping that we can combine your orders, unfortunately, with a big release such as this and a big sale, we are unable to allow you to combine orders because we just don't have the staff or the time to get that done for you on this sale. So just keep that in mind. Unfortunately, that's something that we just cannot do. So now let's go ahead and add our bling. I want to add bling that color coordinates. I thought it would be fun to use a different bling for every different color. So for here, these are an old item, sparkle swirls. I'm just going to grab a silver one right from the top. And whoops, that one's losing its stick. Let's try this one. And I'm going to put it, maybe it's a little too big, but I love it as the star of the show. So I'm going to use a silver on the gray, on the pink. just going to dig out some ice flowers, and I am going to use these on all of the pieces. Where is my poker stick? All right, so hopefully this will be helpful to me today. All right, so you just pick up, push them around until they grab. All right, come on, you. Come on. All right, just use my fingers for this one. I'm going to add a ice bling right in the center, the best I can in the center, and add one to each dot as though it is an ornament hanging off of this Christmas tree. How cute is it? I love it. I'm a big fan. And then this one goes over the banner string that we've added, the white string that holds up the banner. And then one more. Oh, just not being able to pick up these ice flowers with the poker. And then right in the center of the pink. So, and this is just, I have a big drawer for storage, and I just band my like items together. So these are all ice flowers. And that's messy. Right this second, I tuck the ones that I'm missing the paper from right in the back between, and that's my ice flowers because I have deep drawers that hold all of that. So somehow I did not record adding all of the bling to the banners. So I just wanted to show you the two different cards. This is the original card and this is the redone card. You can tell this one has texture and this one also has bling placed as anchors for the banner instead of as ornaments all around. So I kind of like it. I think I like the detail of that a little bit better. So again, preference, I think, is what it's all about. The detail is what I like. So remember, you can use rewards on anything in the Doorbuster sale. Things such as these new bundle of toppings, the snowflakes, the candy hearts, the buttons, fabric buttons, plus there's a whole bunch of other things in there for you guys. So go take a look and you can use your rewards there. However, remember you cannot use your rewards under the Black Friday BOGO sale. So I'm going to leave you now and let you move on to the next video if there's another after me or if there's one before me. Be sure to go back and watch that. So thanks for joining me today. I will see you again. Happy Thanksgiving.